Welcome back to the Biblical Couple,
where we help you walk with God in your marriage.
Today is a very special video. 1,000 subscribers.
1,000.
Ask me anything. You guys have asked us. We appreciate you all so much. Thank you so much for following along. We are so excited to share God's Word with you, to share God's principles, and to welcome you into our family as we all learn from the Lord to walk with God in our marriages. Anna QP, one of our faithful followers, has asked us a question. We just wanted to say thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna QP.
Thank you so much for constantly following us and encouraging us. You're always the first or one of the first people to comment, and we really genuinely enjoy hearing from you. So here's her question.
My question is similar to what Joanna said. How does a wife submit and handle the situation when her usually lovable husband acts in a mean way, especially in front of other people? This happened last week and I didn't know how to react. He later apologized and said he was stressed at work. Very real life situation.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation. Husbands and wives can be pretty snippy towards one another in public sometimes, and
sometimes they don't even realize it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is very true. I like how you are understanding his situation and asking him the questions of his context, and I think that's really the first step, where we understand the context of our spouse's emotions. Like he told you, maybe he's been stressed at work. Not to make excuses for the actions, but at least you're a wise woman, like in Proverbs 31 verse 27, that looks well to the ways of her household in the sense of understanding, knowing the lay of the land, understanding how her husband operates and functions. And after you're understanding the context of his emotions, you can refuse that bitterness and defensiveness and respond in love. Matthew 5:44 says to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
If God is telling us to love our enemies, how much greater with the one that isn't our enemy and the one who is closest to us. And I think we can also think about Jesus' response to the ones that reviled against him. I'm sure many people were watching him as he was traveling with his cross up the hill, and how he responded in meekness. And meekness doesn't mean, like you're just kind of like a doormat and you just pushed over and you don't care about yourself. No, it's strength under control, and that's what Jesus did and who he was.
Yeah, and so as you're responding in love in that moment, you can stand firm while nudging in the right direction. Proverbs 31:26 talks about how the wise woman opens her mouth in wisdom. So now that you're understanding the context of the situation, whatever the scenario is, and that you're refusing that bitterness and responding in love, you can nudge him in the right direction. And that shows that firmness on principle while being meek and gentle. Peter J. asked, how do you deal with conflict in marriage? How do you avoid arguments?
That is also a very real life question. We actually have a video on how to stop an argument. You check it right here. Not here, but over here. Over here. How to stop an argument. We did that a year and a half ago, I think.
Yeah.
And the
from the beginning, yeah.
Still ring true today.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it was a while back, but that's definitely been one of our popular videos, and so thanks for asking the question. Ultimately, in a short answer, you want to walk in the fear of the Lord, in the tenderness of appreciation, and in the perseverance of communication.
Next question is from Living Unashamed, also one of our faithful commenters.
I remember Living Unashamed is from Louisiana.
I think so.
I do remember that.
Louisiana.
I genuinely want to meet you one day. Good sir.
That would be really fun.
Yes. Thank you for your constant support.
Why do you guys think biblical gender roles aren't talked about much in the church? Or if it is, it's pretty watered down? Also a really good question.
Yeah, it often boils down to weak leadership. Satan always attacks like he did from the beginning. He always attacks God's predefined gender roles. And you see that in Genesis 3 verse 1, where the serpent purposely attacks Eve. He's being calculating there.
Yeah, but going back to why it's not talked about much in the church, or it's pretty watered down, I think also too just the way that, like as Sheng mentioned in Genesis 3, women want control over the man, and you see that happening generation after generation ever since from the beginning. And so it's no surprise that it's happening in the church now, where the woman wants control and headship within even the church. And I think too, fear of man, not wanting to speak up and talk about biblical gender roles.
Yeah, it offends people, and it's very easy to placate people's emotions instead of standing on the truth. But the truth is what people need, and that's what gives life, and that's God's will. So let's be unashamed about it.
Kayleen Cho, one of our sisters from our church, says, how many more kids do you want to have? What are your favorite things about Samuel and Roee? What are your favorite dates that you've been on together, from dating or marriage?
So let's take it one at a time. How many more kids do you want to have?
2 more.
What are your favorite things about Samuel?
He's very friendly, very, very friendly, very kind and sweet. I saw one time he saw like 2 people by themselves, and he just went over and sat by them and just started like talking to them in his Samuel language. I'm like, hi.
Yeah, we could probably show you guys clips too of his friendliness and sweetness. I mean, you probably have seen it already in the videos, but you can't get enough. You can't get enough.
He's very kind.
Mm-hmm. What are your favorite things about Roee?
We really love his smile, his cheerfulness, especially when I think the way that God has made him with his seizures and everything, and all of the health issues that he has, God purposely making his smile so big and so bright and cheerful is just like the nicest way to like juxtapose his health issues. I don't know, it just, every time I see him smile, it's just so sweet, and like just reminds me of God's grace to us, even in the way that he's made him. I'm very hopeful for the way that God is going to grow him one day, and hopefully God is going to use him as a great testimony of God's grace in his life.
Yeah, whenever I think about Roee, on that note, I think of John chapter 9, the man born blind, where where Jesus talks about how he has been born blind for the specific moment of receiving healing from Jesus, being able to glorify God in that illness and in that healing, and that he was prepared for that moment. So I really love thinking about Roee and thinking about how he's so special. We always say he's our special little boy, and that he's going to be able to glorify God in a special way, and he already has been. If you want to hear more about his story, click on the link right here, and that's a video of when we first found out about his condition back in November of 2021. So it's super fun. Mm-hmm. Last question from Kayleen. What are your favorite dates that you've been on together, from dating or marriage?
I really love our car rides. Whenever we get into like a road trip, especially when we're talking for a few hours, I just love talking to Sheng and catching up, talking about random things and talking about really meaningful things too.
I really like dancing to music with her in that in the car rides. Joanna's a really good dancer. She's got a lot of swag. Yeah, people don't really know that, but I mean, you could probably tell. She just has some sort of flavor about her. It's got more of a. It's more of a.
You have swag too.
I know, but people know that.
I guess he brings it out of me.
We're like salt and pepper. I bring the salt, she brings the pepper, and we both bring the shake. Oh, that's good.
Oh yes, and then there was another time when Sheng took us to, it was my first time going, but he had already been there. It's called Lake Miramar in San Diego. I think it's called Lake Miramar Reservoir, or like Miramar Reservoir, whatever.
It's a reservoir, but they pretend it's a lake.
Yeah.
And we can pretend too.
It's man-made, but
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's really beautiful. We went a couple weeks after Samuel was born, and we were like itching to get outside of the house because we were just cooped up, and obviously I was healing and Sheng was resting with me as much as we could. with our firstborn baby. And when we went to the lake, it was just, the sun was setting. We were walking along this, I don't know, fence thing. It doesn't sound very appealing, but there's like a fence thing. Maybe I can show a picture
we'll show a photo
here. And the lake was just really still. One time I went there with one of our pastor's elder's wife, and she said she saw something like jump in there. I don't know what it was. I don't know. I don't think they have fish in there. So to this day, it's still kind of a mystery.
Oh, they have fish. They have fish.
Okay.
Yeah, they put fish in it.
Okay. Well, maybe it was a giant fish.
I really loved our 1-year anniversary when we went to Vancouver, the Great White North, our neighbors up there.
Friendly neighbors.
Yeah, we went to Stanley Park and we biked. It was just beautiful. It was really beautiful times. It was fun.
The first half of that I didn't really enjoy very much because I was in my first trimester.
Yeah, with Samuel.
Mm-hmm. And I threw up.
Once. Could have been more times.
But yeah, there's a huge blessing from God because I know that there are other women that throw up every day. So, but we were on a cruise ship.
I know. I was surprised that you only threw up
once.
I know.
Yeah. Looking back,
see, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's a grace from God.
Yeah. I also really love, one of my favorite family trips is us going to this place in San Bernardino County called Green Valley Lake.
That was beautiful too.
Yes, it's this sweet tucked away little lake in between Big Bear Lake and Lake Arrowhead, and it's just this like backyard sort of small area, and just being able to be tucked away in the cabins and spending time together, movies, making some dishes from Trader Joe's.
Yeah, that is a tradition we have.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. When we go on vacation, we go on a Trader Joe's splurge. Because normally the stuff is just way too expensive, so you can only get a few things.
Okay.
Andrew Shee. Andy, another faithful brother from our church. He asked, how do you push through day by day through difficult times? How do you do it?
I think personally as a mom, being at home, it can be really easy to get sucked into this mindset of like, oh, life is mundane, like I'm just kind of going day by day and disciplining the kids, or at least one of the kids for now, is difficult. And but I think in those difficult moments, it's really sweet to be able to take respite in the Lord and just step aside for a second. Obviously letting Samuel know that I'm going to go pray, but just asking the Lord for help, as simple as that, just asking him for help and acknowledging that I can't parent or teach Samuel on my own, and like when I'm home physically here, when Shanga's at work, and I need the Lord's help, and he provides every single time. And there was something else I was going to say that I forgot.
I know what you were going to say. Well, I know what I was going to say based off of what you were going to say.
Okay.
So I'll say that. She was mentioning the monotony that we can all feel in our seasons, whatever season of life, right? Life may not seem so spectacular where we go to work every single day, we discipline the kids every single day, we get 3 square meals every day, and or you're in school, you know, and you're hitting the grind, hitting your textbooks every day, whatever it may be. But I think it's just always remembering the big picture of the Great Commission.
Yeah.
And remembering the gospel that has saved us, that we know Christ and that Christ is coming. He's returning.
I remember when I was...
Perfect. See? Okay, see, this is what you're going to say.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Keep
All
going.
right. It's fine.
Anyway, speaking of the Great Commission, just thinking about like not disciplining the kids just for the short term, like just today, but also what is this discipline going to create and allow the boys to grow into one day, hopefully, Lord willing, men, not boys, but men who will be leaders within their home, Lord willing, within the church as they grow up. And I can already see the Lord really blessing the means of discipline, which he has told us to do in Proverbs and various scriptures. But yeah, just seeing the fruit of that, and it really excites me to see how the Lord is going to use the gospel in their lives.
Yeah, and that answers the question about the difficult times, especially for Roee, right? We with his life and the trials that he's going through, it's so comforting to know that it's the spiritual that matters in him. It's not his physical experience ultimately that will define him. It's his relationship with the Lord. And thinking about Samuel and Roee being able to grow up and be men of God, like Joanna said, that motivates me at work to do excellently, to be able to make more for the family, and to be able to contribute that money as well for the church and the ministries, so that the gospel can go out. The gospel can go out in their lives. The gospel can go out through us, through this YouTube ministry. It creates that context and meaning for everything of why we're doing what we're doing, is to be able to glorify the Lord and partake in the building of His church. We're just so excited. In about 3 weeks, we're going to go over to Provo, Utah on a mission trip as a family for the first time, all 4 of us being able to join in with short-term missions in our church family. It's things like that just really push us through any sort of trial that we could have in our lives, remembering, oh wow, we get to be a part of this, and the gospel keeps marching on and going forth. Yeah, I think also appreciating the little moments too. Roee just looking exactly like Joanna.
He says this every single, not just once a day, but
multiple times. Yep.
Every 10 seconds.
We should show them
Maybe
a
not.
baby photo of him and then baby photo of you, so that they can see,
I will do
little
that.
moments like that where God and His genius just makes them identical in every way. Personality too. He's super chill, but he's a boy. She's a woman, obviously. How does that even happen? And it just boggles my mind. Yeah. It's just little moments like that, and I call him Little Joe, right? Little Joe. Mm-hmm.
Joe Rowe.
Yeah, Little Joe Rowe.
Yeah. Yes, last question. Living intentionally. How did you get into making videos? So, if you guys didn't know, Sheng is the leader of the Rock Solid Marriage Ministry in our church. And if you're in town, it means every first and third Wednesday of the month in a local home. We will put the details down in the description box below. But yeah, so we have a lot of good content within the Rock Solid Marriage Ministry that Sheng teaches every first and third Wednesday, and the women's ministry also has really great content. All the ministry leaders have great content, so we actually have a bunch of other YouTube ministries, YouTube channel ministries. I don't know what we call that.
Yeah, let's put them all in the description.
Yeah, check them all out down there.
Yes, there's an apologetics
There's
channel
creation.
called The Offensive Line.
Yes,
yeah,
sorry.
there's a creation. No, it's all good.
Creation.
Creation is cool.
Our Great God, that's for children.
Yep, everything.
Everything you can imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Down below.
Yes.
So yeah, we wanted to channel all of that great content into YouTube, where billions of people are on.
Yes. So go forth and help us by sharing these videos, sharing the channel with everybody you know. That's just going to be able to share God's word with other people, share God's wisdom with other people, and help people walk with the Lord.
Amen.
Yes. Thank you guys so much again for 1,000 subscribers.
Thank you guys.
We can't wait for more growth and development. This is just the beginning. Can't wait for more.
See you guys later.